can I share about food addiction? I spent years in OA and then FA and then bright line eating. I cannot find a home. I cannot find my home for a food plan that I can live with. I welcome anything you share. Okay, so, addiction. Addiction relating to food, is really about, for me, I'm going to put it in yogic terms. It's a first chakra issue, first chakra, core, foundation, nourishment, energy, right? Security. So that's a foundational issue in the world of yoga. And so in approaching food addiction, our tendency is to always try and figure out, well, what's the right system? What's the right diet? What time should I eat, or what amount should I eat, or how much should it weigh, or how many calories, and so part of the issue for some people is finding the right structure within which there's a sense of freedom. And that might seem like an oxymoron to some people. How can having a structure mean freedom? In point of fact, structure actually leads to freedom. The right structure can lead to freedom. So ultimately, where I would like people to be is I'd like them to be on the freedom diet like I am, which means they're comfortable in their body, they nourish their cells, they're aware of the foods that work for them and which don't work for them. They're aware of what it feels like to overeat versus eating well. And they begin to develop a relationship with food that serves the planet first and serves their body in every way, shape, and form. And this is not something that is done, in a week or any amount of time. It's just done each day. And just like a practice, each day you build momentum, you learn more, and you experience more. Now, just like at the beginning with drugs and alcohol, for me, there has to be that period where you're like, first of all, I have to stop this behavior. So let's just say chocolate cake is your thing, or sugar. So there has to be a period of detox, naturally. With food, of course, we don't just stop eating food. It's a process addiction. We're going to always be in process with it. But we're working on developing a relationship with ourselves based upon the idea that in our heart and soul, we feel like we're enough. And the patterns of reaching out to food or a human being or a drug to try to become enough over time no longer make sense, because we're so connected with the self that this awakening takes place inside of us. And a lot of our addictive behaviors and our addictive thinking start to lower in volume and lower in frequency. And so it's a very real thing, and it's a very difficult thing. Food addiction is one of the most difficult because we have to eat. I caution people, it's just very typical for us in our addictive mentality to throw ourselves into some program that is going to be the fix. I would say that you will, for the rest of your life, from that attitude, be going from program to program and never actually find the results that you're looking for, because it's just the wrong attitude. So the right attitude is, I need to make some small changes in my life that bring about huge transitions, huge transformations. So one of the things that I've done in dealing with my own food issues over the years, I work with a nutritionist. I work with medical doctors, naturopathic doctors who think outside the box. I work with two men. Number one, Dr. Nick Jensen, who will be coaching us in the food realm and in the detoxification realm through this program. He's going to help us to see things differently. Incredible naturopathic doctor. Expert in detox, expert in cellular health. So I work with him. I do things like blood tests, stool tests, to find out what are the deficiencies actually. What's actually going on for me in the body? What am I allergic to? A lot of people who deal with bulimia, sometimes bulimia can be triggered not just by emotional things, but also by actually being allergic to food and just stuffing your face with food that your body actually doesn't want. And naturally, you'd want to throw it up anyway, because it's not good for you. Your body registers it as a poison. So there's structures to step inside of that make sense for you. Anybody who tells you there's a quick fix, oh, in 8 weeks, you'll solve every problem in your life. Come on. Does anybody really believe that? And at the end of this 8 weeks, you will still need to do your work each day, one day at a time. I'm sorry to be the bearer of this news. This is the nature of being a human being. But I want to do away in my own mind with any thought of a cure for being human. We just get to be human. If you're dealing with food addiction, obviously it depends on how severe. Anorexia is a killer. Bulimia is a killer. If you're severe into those things, I would say you need to be in intensive therapy and have support on a day at a time basis and be on a very, 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 powerful program of recovery from those specific addictions. If you're, binge eating and you're not in the body that you want to be in, you find yourself stuck in addictive patterns of eating, we can make a lot of progress with that together. We'll learn a lot and we'll make incremental steps that will bring about big shifts. That's what I would have to say right now,